All right, this is the first trial of my new mics. We'll get to those in a minute. My feet hurt a lot. I was just crouching trying to set up everything. Because now I don't have to find a table. I can just like put down my laptop. And you know what, once again, I'll get the weather. It is muggy. It is kind of wet out. It kind of rained, but not enough to get rid of the mugginess. I'm really upset about it. It's just kind of gross, but it's warm. It's definitely warm, but it's gross. Yeah, what I wrote down is rainy and muggy and icky and gross, which kind of sums up what that's going on about. Anyway, the new mics. So I got the Rode Wireless Goes 2s, or Go IIs. And what it is it's got a receiver that plugs into whatever, and then it's got two transmitters. So two things that I can like talk into. And I've got one clipped to my shirt right now. It's got a little like a little fuzzy guy on top of it, so like wind and stuff doesn't mess with it. But I've also, since I've got it plugged into my computer, my laptop, because I don't have the right cord to plug it into my my phone, it's also going through NVIDIA Broadcast, so it's like getting rid of extra background noise. There's a lot of animal noises. It is spring, but so that's kind of what's going on. It's on my shirt, and I can still see what's going on the Audacity on my laptop because it's just on a rock on the ground. I can still see it. But this is cool. But the fun part is that it came with, and also I can walk around. This is very exciting. I'm like 12 feet away from my computer right now. But the fun part is that it came with two transmitters, like two mics essentially. So I can clip one to myself, and then I can clip one to another person, and I have another person actually mic'd up for real. So like in theory, this will be better. I really hope this has enough battery. Let me quickly double check how much battery this thing's got. Oh yeah, we got plenty of battery. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm recording this on a Thursday, so I don't got a ton of time to. If this doesn't work, it's gonna be a mess. But it's a Thursday. I'm running a little late again. But the things I've been thinking about lately, I've got a couple of them written down. I got a front and a back because I accidentally printed front and back, or it's front and like a little bit back, but. I've been thinking about aesthetics a lot lately because I've been thinking about not only like what I want to do for branding for like this channel and the podcast and if I ever do other content, if I ever get around to it, if I ever do streaming, things like that. And then, but also like the room that I would want to work in, or like the environment that I would want to work in. Like when I actually eventually do get an office, like I buy a house, I get a real office, what would I want that to look like? Because I've done a lot of living in other people's places where I can't really do what I want to do to it. So so I've been thinking about aesthetics a lot lately, partly because I have a friend, and that I met through Discord, and they were talking about how they do graphic design. They were like, I was talking about how I was struggling with what I wanted to do, and he told me to hit him up with some pictures, and so I was like, sure, why not? So I went on Pinterest for the first time like ever, and I made an account, and I just started Googling the terms that I knew I wanted, and then scrolling and just adding them all to my profile willy-nilly, absolutely no like thought, head empty, just like, oh, that one, yes, 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 yes. And I actually learned a type of thing that I didn't know existed. I'm gonna walk on around and I'm gonna walk on this dock, and hopefully it's not gonna cut out. Maybe I won't go on the dock, but I got four here. So the first one is cassette futurism, which I've been kind of digging for a long time. If you want a really cool cassette futurism piece of media, the show on Netflix, the Netflix original show Maniac, which is like 7 episodes, but it's not really 7 episodes because the episodes are all different lengths, and it's basically just like a 9-hour movie. Maniac's really good. It's a very good example of cassette futurism where it's just slightly altered. It's basically like the technology continues to develop, but we don't get past tape recording and CRTs. So like in Maniac, it's like a bunch of stuff, but like you got a lot of the beige computers, you have a lot of CRTs, you got a lot of like a weird type of specific angular curved. So like a lot of the tech is still very angular, still very like not quite cyberpunk, but like it's more like Apple II, like boxy, but it's got a lot of nice curved edges. So like think of like Macs today where they've got the curved edges of the screen, so it's not a perfect rectangle, or like CRTs would have those curved edges, or maybe even be more ovular than rectangular. And the color schemes were always kind of banging. They got a really sick orange and like a baby blue that they use a lot. Think Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, where he uses the blues on the whites and the blues on the whites and then the orange on the white, which would then eventually, the orange would degrade to become the beige, because that's how degrading plastic worked back in the day. I'm getting sweaty. It is so muggy out. Oh my God. And then the other part of cassette futurism that I really like is the emphasis on analog controls, button switches, dials, sliders, just things like that. I love them. Like I talked about it in one of these podcasts. I got a surge protector that has switches on it. And all it's done is added extra steps to my, like, to what I have with, like, it's all it's done is added extra steps, but I love it so much because the tactile feeling of flipping switches is just so awesome that I don't care. And like I bought a foot pedal for like that reason. It's like, do I use the foot pedal currently? No, I'm probably going to use it in my next cooking episode, but like overall, not really all that useful. But like the feeling of clicking the button is awesome, so I love it. And then, okay, that's cassette futurism. Another way to think about it is kind of think about it as the teenage engineering design philosophy, for those of you that follow that type of stuff, that kind of idea. Or I actually have another one. They all kind of flow together. VHS is the next one, specifically not only like the imperfections of VHS, but also like VHS, a lot of, in my head, VHS also comes with another point on here, which is the 4:3 aspect ratio. I kind of hate like 16:9 or 27:10 or whatever, like stupid, just like ultra wides are. I kind of hate those a lot. Like I'm all in on, like, 16:9 is fine, but I've found that I think the only time I've ever liked a wider screen is for the movie Atlantis, which honestly kind of goes hard. Not the point though. But like that one's shot in like 21:7 or whatever the action movie thing is. I forget what the actual numbers are, but it's extra wide for that reason. And cinema technology, cinematography wise, that made sense for that movie. But in my humble opinion, I like the closeness, the tightness, the coziness, the human element of 4:3, and having to stick to that. I really like 4:3. It's, I don't know, something about it really messes with me the right way. And that's kind of part of VHS, but then also the imperfections of the quality with all the static and the lines and the fuzziness of the CRTs, and just kind of and then tape as a medium, it wears down, but not, it's like you can wear, and it, I don't know, VHS is a cool one. And like just the way that it pauses, and like when you pause a VHS, it like kind of goes back and forth like, and it's really fun. And it gets like extra fuzzy. And then also box art of VHSs. So VHSs, if you were to like buy a VHS to record your own, those company boxes have a very specific art style that is really cool, where they use some really fun colors. It's got really cool design language. Realizing now that this would be a really cool visual visual podcast if I had visuals, but I'm not gonna do that. But like those same kind of color schemes that I talked about with cassette futurism, it's just like all there, and they had some really cool box arts and stuff. The third is Tron, the movie. Tron is honestly a case, of cassette futurism, but Tron's a really good landmark of them. So Tron, the original one, with like the glow, that's kind of like bad, but also kind of awesome. Like the glow of the suits and of all of the things in that original movie. Tron Uprising being kind of, or also holding, I gotta take this one step at a time. So Tron, the original movie, is very much cassette futurism because it is like very much like you get cubified and sent to the grid and all that stuff. And then you have all of the, Tron, the original movie, is very cassette futurism. Tron, the sequel, whatever it's called, Tron, it's not Tron Uprising, that's the show, I'm going to get to that in a second. Tron Legacy, not Ares. I haven't seen Ares yet because it's not out yet, but I will watch it, and I will be mad at it most likely because it's got that stupid idiot in it. The second one is more of a case of just, it's more like sci-fi cyberpunk, but it still maintains enough of the cassette futurism that I still really like it. Because like the grid as a concept is very cassette futurism based, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go into the computer and it's a grid, and then I'm gonna have the programs, and the programs are like people, and then like blah blah blah, and then it's like, and then obviously in like Tron Legacy it adds like the, oh, then there was a computer bug which created people, and then they were segregated, and it's like, whoa, but like it's very much the like idea of what living in a computer would be like if that idea was created like the second computers were made, and so that's really fun to me, like in my head. And then like the grid as a concept is awesome. I love that. Love the grid. Awesome name. The grid is the coolest thing. Why will there never be a good Tron game? Don't know. Give me Tron Bike VR, please. Please, Tron Bike VR. Thank you. I don't even own a VR headset. I will buy one. And then the last one is Memphis Style, which I didn't know was a thing until I talked about it to this friend on Discord, and they were like, oh, that's Memphis Style. And I was like, what? But that's like this, okay, for the quick version is it's the style that Eddie Burback used for a while when he was doing his original commentary stuff. And he might still use today, but I don't really watch him anymore. But basically, right, it's the different colored, like basic shapes, kind of floating in a void. And they're really fun colors, and they're bright, and they're like lightning bolts and triangles and circles and squares. And its emphasis is on like really bold colors, harsh lines, very kind of in your face. I like a kind of more muted version of that. I also recently on Discord, because I'm fiscally irresponsible apparently, I bought the pack that is the Memphis Style thing. That was like $5 for like the profile because I'm stupid, but it kind of does that whole thing where it's like where it's very in your face, very I don't know, it's got a very 70s vibe to it. If you think of like the 3-line zigzag scribble teal on white, that's the same idea. A lot of pencils, a lot of cups made in that style. I hope that's getting across. But if you just like Google Memphis Style, I learned about its existence literally earlier today when I was talking to him. Yeah, like those are a lot of aesthetics that I like, and once again, I've been thinking of them because it's like, well, I want him to help me with like kind of figuring out a style, because I think it'd be fun to have a style, but also like I want to make videos again. I want to make I might stream, who knows. I keep coming up with ideas, and then my friend Devin, who we all know, Toon3, the GOAT, he keeps telling, like, I keep coming up with ideas and telling him, and then he keeps being like, those are good stream ideas. And I'm like, I know, but like, dude, I'm stupid. So that's kind of fun. But I will also eventually move into my own house, my own place, and that, like, I want to bring that same design language into the office in which I work, the place in which I live, right? I want to have lots of tactile buttons. I love the tactility of it all. I want to have the fun colors, and I want to have the beige. I want to have the CRTs, which are getting more expensive by the day. Oh my God. Like I want to, like, if I could, I would right now. I don't know about that. I don't know if I can commit to that. We'll double down. If I could right now, I would probably replace my TV, which is a 1080p, like 50-inch TV that I got for free from my dead grandpa. He is dead. I got the TV. And it's 1080p, but it's really nice. And it's like from 2007. But it's nice. It works. It works for what it is. It's 1080p. I'm far enough away from it that I don't care. And it looks really nice. But if someone was like, hey, I'll trade you that TV for a TV of the same size, the 50-inch projector-based CRT ones that are like really, they look kind of flat, but it's because they triangle back to a really small CRT that then gets projected, and it was still 1080p, I would jump on that shit so fast. Oh my God, those TVs are insane. I keep seeing them on Facebook Marketplace, and I am really debating getting one because they're just so cool, and I want one really bad. But speaking of moving, I work at my work. I take time. There's a portion of my work that I don't have to go in, and so for the summer I kind of have it off. You can take a guess at what my job is, but during the summer I work at the same camp in which I am currently living, which is why I don't really talk about like the name of it and stuff because I don't want anyone finding me, really. But this. Like I'm going to try to put out content during that. I'm going to try to like record on my one day off because I think it'd be funny. But the big thing is, right, is because the cabin in which I live is used by the nurse in the summer. So like we have a nurse on site all the time. And so I have to move out within like the next 2 weeks. Like I am basically on the cusp of moving out. But the problem is I don't own a house yet. So since I don't own a house yet, I got to move somewhere, and I don't want to rent because then I'm not going to be able to save money for a house. So I'm in this like weird spot, and luckily, my boyfriend's parents have decided to be kind of cool for some reason, and they are allowing me to temporarily, for as long as we need, as long as it's not terribly long time, to live in their basement / room of my boyfriend for however long we need. And like during the summer, I'll mostly be at camp, so like it'll mostly just be my stuff there. But if I don't find a house by the end of the summer, then it would be living there while I'm going to work and stuff. But because of that, I got to move all my stuff out of my house or of the cabin in which I currently live. And the fun part about that is that like I don't own a lot technically. Like technically speaking, I don't own a lot because I just don't buy a lot. I mostly buy stuff from my computer, but I do have a problem with hoarding. Like yesterday, I threw out a bunch of stuff. Like I don't have an actual hoarding problem. I just find it very hard to like. I throw out stuff all the time. Like I'm a very clean person. I throw out stuff a lot, but I have problems letting go of certain things, specifically technology. But also like, I'm not one to be like, oh, I'll sell my coffee table and then buy a new one with the money because like I can just buy a new one. It's like, oh, I don't have the space for it. I will sell it. I will buy something new when I have space. I do not work like that. I'm stupid. But I have essentially 4 items, and then I have a bunch of other stuff, right? So my 4 items that I have that have gone with me from each spot is my desk. So I had a desk when I was at home living with my parents, and then I moved to the condo, and that was the condo. It was kind of fun. And I got a new desk while I was at the condo, so then that desk was bigger, and it came with me to where I currently live in the cabin. Love seat, same idea. I got it. It was at the condo. I kept it at the condo. It was Bob's, my grandpa's. He's cool. He's dead. It's this really, or that's not the, did I say love seat? I meant lazy boy. The lazy boy. It's not an actual lazy boy. It shakes though. It's kind of cool. I like it a lot. It came with me here. It's going to come with me when I move again. And then the love seat for real this time. Love seat came from my dad. My dad moved it to where to the lake because it was at home, and then he moved it to the lake. And then when I moved into the condo, he was like, "Do you have a couch?" And I was like, "No, I don't have a couch. What are you talking about? I don't have any money. You're charging me rent. I don't have money." And he was like, "Oh, okay. I'll just give you one of the old love seats, and you can use that." So I have that still because I haven't given it back because he's a hoe. Like I'll just keep it, lol. And same idea with the next thing, the coffee table, which I only recently learned he built. But apparently he built this coffee table, which has like a nice embedded like checkerboard in it. Like it's really nice. I thought he just bought it, but like he didn't have room for it at one point, and so it was gonna get chucked from the living room and get brought to the dump, to like the swap shed that we have at our dump. And instead, I took it to my room because I needed it for whatever I needed it for at the time, and I've kept it. And that was like probably 2016, and I just yoinked it, like I just yoinked it, lol. So I've had that for almost 10 years, and he keeps trying to swindle me to give it back to him, so that he can steal it back. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna borrow it, and it's like, no, you're not. You're gonna try to steal it. Like, dude, I know what you're trying to do because I did it to you. So it is really gray out. I am suddenly realizing it's like so gray out right now. I hope it does rain actually. I was gonna say I hope it doesn't because I'm like recording, but like I really hope it does. Also, like I'm not almost done, but like I'm definitely past the halfway point of this thing. But and then so those are my four things: my desk, my love seat, my coffee table, and my lazy boy are like my four big items. They're like the only items I really own, and they're huge, because like it's a desk that's 3 feet by 6 feet, and it's a couch that's or a love seat that's basically the same size, and then it's a coffee table that's basically the same size, and then it's a lazy boy which is heavy and weird and awkwardly shaped, and it's like, how in the world am I going to move all that? It's like, where am I going to put it is the other thing. And so it's most of it, it's going to probably go in the basement of my boyfriend's parents' house while we're looking to do stuff. And then I've got a bunch of other stuff. Like I've got my computer, which is honestly quite large in itself. I've got the computer, then all the cables, and then the 3 monitors, and then the surge protector, and then the surge protector. And then there's all the stuff in the desk as well. But that's besides the point, right? And then I've also got a bunch of wall art. Some of it, not even all that much of it got hung up while I've been here in the cabin in the woods. But I do have some. I got like a clock and stuff. I got a whole bunch of stuff on the wall I got to take down. Some Avatar stuff. It's very fun. And then I've also got so a bunch of wooden swords. I got metal traffic signs that I picked up off the ground. It was legal. I was picking up litter. And then I've got 4 TVs, I realize, because I have, is it 4? I wrote down 4. Oh, yeah, it is 4. Because I've got my CRT TV, and then I've got the 50-inch TV that I talked about already, and then I've got the 24-inch, or the 17-inch TV, and then I've got the 32-inch TV that's actually 31 inches and is actually smaller than my monitor that's 32 inches, which is kind of funny, but that's that. And then I just wrote I caramba because I just got like a whole bunch of stuff. I actually honestly have more kitchen stuff than I think I have other stuff. Like I got like a blender and an air fryer and I got a bunch of dishes that I once again stole from Bob. He is still dead. I should really make like a Bob. I feel like I did a Bob memoriam already. But I feel like I've talked about Bob like 30 times. I still love Bob. I was going to correct myself to love, but I love Bob. He's very funny. He still lives in my head rent free. I don't think I've properly processed his death. He will hit me one day. I'm very grateful that he was part of my life. He was a very silly old man, but now I have a lot of his stuff, so I think about him a lot. And then I wrote just, it's all very silly, which is true. It's all very silly. Like I have a lot of just like goofy stuff going on. But the other thing is like, okay, well, if I'm going to move into the basement and it's only going to be temporary, that means I really have to start looking. And it's like, well, house prices haven't started dropping yet, unfortunately. Like they haven't really truly started dropping yet. And I've only got so much money that I can, get for a loan and all that stuff and blah, 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 boring, boring, boring. And so I've been coaxed into starting to look at condos and stuff as well, which is not my favorite thing to look at. Because like I've lived in a house, I've lived in a condo. I've done both of these things. I lived at my parents' house. I currently live in a cabin in the woods, which is a house ostensibly, and it is mine theoretically right now. And I've also lived in the condo when my dad owned the condo, and he rented me the condo for that 1 year. So like, and now I'm going to be like living kind of almost like moving back home, but with a different set of parents, which is kind of silly. But like, it's, I don't know. So the house options, right? It's like I either get a house that's gonna be way more expensive, and I'm gonna have to live in for a while, and I'm gonna have like it's gonna cost more. It's gonna just like in general cost more. Like it just will, and it'll probably be bigger. It'll have more freedom. There's all of that but it's just like the cost entry and like what I would be able to afford is just so weird. Because it's like that doesn't seem like enough space for what I'm paying, but also like if I pay less, I don't get anything. And it's like, ah, geez. And the other option is the condo where I have slightly less control, but I can get one for quite a lot cheaper. And because of my income, like I can probably get housing that's like for poor people. And so like that'd be nice. But then I'd be in a condo, and probably with that type of arrangement, it would have to be I'd have to live there for 10 years, or the money wouldn't, like I wouldn't get all of the loan And that's like an interesting thing where it's like, okay, if I make this decision and I have to live there for 10 years, so like I can't like opt out after 5 because then I lose part of the whatever, and then I have to cover that part of it. Like 10 years, I've realized while, talking to the different like loan people and stuff and figuring out different programs and things, is that 10 years is a while. Like I'm 24. I'm now officially 24. As of 5 days ago. I'm now 24. I'm officially old, which I'm going to say every time I turn the next stage. I'm now officially old, which means that like, so that's 2.5 of me is 10 years. That's not a lot. Like I remember that was a fish. Holy moly, that fish jumped. Oh my God, I'm next to the lake a little bit. There's a dock like not far away from me. Holy moly, that was crazy. That was fun. Oh my God. But the house, like obviously I want a house, and one of my stipulations that I want to get fiber, and I also want a garage. Like I prefer more garage, but like I want a garage. I want a backyard. I want to be able to do that. I don't want my house terribly close to the road because that scares me specifically. And like there's a bunch of little things that I want in a house, and it's very hard to find one, obviously, with all of these things. Honestly, like I'll take an unfinished basement. I think the project of finishing a basement's fun in my head. But like finding a house is one thing. And then it's like also like my dad keeps being like, oh, well, you could just buy a plot of land and then build a house. And I'm like, I could do what? You want me to build the whole thing? Like I'll finish a basement. I don't know if I want to build the whole thing. Well, he's like, no, you don't have to build the whole thing. You just have to get someone else to build it, but then you have to pay for it. And it's like, yeah, I have to pay for it, dude. That's a lot of money. So that's exciting. But then it's like, well, that as well. It's like I'd have to kind of commit to that pretty hard. And then it's like, okay, well, now I got to find a plot of land. It's like, dude, I'm going to find a lot of land, and then I have to like have the house get built, and then I have to wait for it to be built, and then I can move into it. It's like, dude, it's a lot. And it's like also it's like, oh, well, you could get a fixer upper, and it's like I know I could get a fixer upper, dude. Well, like a lot of these fixer uppers is either like they're good or they're fucked. And it's like there is no in between. And like I'm all for like getting a foreclosure or something, but like some of these things are like messed up. But like I don't know, it's the price to freedom ratio. Oh my God, what is that noise, dude? I really hope that's getting picked up because that is obnoxious. I don't think it is. But what's it called? What was I saying? Oh, the price to freedom ratio of like a condo to a house is very interesting to me, and I'm trying to figure it out. Like I recently, like today, I literally sent D3 a link to a house or to a condo because I thought it was funny because it was the end condo. So in the description, it was like, yo, you've got the side yard available. And I was like, yo, they got freaking side yard. That's awesome. But like also if I'm in a condo and I'm that close to my neighbor anyway, I don't know if I would even want to use the yard. And it becomes it's a whole thing again. And it's like, I don't know if the condo is worth it, especially if I would have to commit to 10 years there. Because like I'm 24. If I want kids, ostensibly, that should be done within, like if me and my boyfriend decide that we want like a child, that should be done probably before I'm 34, which means that the kid would have to be brought in the condo. Obviously we could move then, like if we got if by, I don't know, 28 or whatever, which would give me 7 years. Oh, that's probably too many. But like theoretically, right, I could wait 5 years and then we could have a child or adopt a child or whatever we decide to do. And then like 5 years later, they maybe go to kindergarten, but then we switch them to a kindergarten and after we move. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But also like, I don't know if I want to do that. Or like that'd be kind of rude to the kid. And like, I don't know, moving seems like a tough process. So like, I don't know. I'm just not excited because moving is a big process and I've talked about it 400 times at this point. But like I have to move for the 3rd year in a row and it's not going to be the last, which is frustrating. But that's that. It's like a whole bunch of moving stuff and talking about aesthetics and blah, blah, blah. I feel like I talked really fast today because I was able to pace around and I can't like look at anything for real. Like I keep looking over at the screen and I can't even read what my time's at. I'm going to walk a little bit closer. What'd I get through today, huh? 29 minutes. Hey, look at that. I'm probably going to hit the half-hour mark. Look at me go. I'll get a guest on eventually. Don't worry about it. Shh, don't tell anybody that I said I was going to get a guest for this one. Plus, you got a cooking episode coming up, guys. Look at that. Look at me go. I'm doing great. Anyway, I gotta fit that in somewhere. I might record that early, to be honest. But dinner tonight. I don't know. Last night we had spaghetti and meatballs, except it was penne pasta with meatballs. The boyfriend made the meatballs. They were pretty good. I liked them a lot. Tonight I don't know. I got ground beef. I got the not turkey. I got chicken. I'm thinking I kind of want to do something with the chicken, but I don't know what to do with the chicken. But also like I could just make something simple. I could do like a sloppy Joe or a meatloaf or a I don't know, something simple with ground beef. I go chili again. I don't think it's a chilly day. It's very muggy. I don't think I could do chili today. I don't know. I didn't really think about it much. I could do like a nah, because I don't know. I don't really want to make anything like terribly warm, terribly hot. I want something that I can kind of like just kind of like vibe with. Maybe it's like a burger night. I don't know. Maybe I'll make some burgers. Cause like I don't think maybe a hot dog. I don't know. I think maybe I'll keep it simple tonight. Cause like it is hot. It's rough out. But anyway, catch you guys on the flip side. So I'm done with this thing, man. I'm gonna pack it in. I'm gonna go inside where it's freaking colder, dude. This thing stinks out here. All right, now I gotta climb on down here and break my ankles again. Ugh. Anyway, see you guys.